how to stay away from sanctions on Russian fuel sources. Oil cocktails. In the midst of taking off oil and gas costs, Russia is getting increasingly more cash from abroad, regardless of sense and political tension. Western organizations have tried to evade the limitations to keep purchasing Russian fuel. They are not prepared to leave Moscow's oil and gas totally. In it, the quickest individuals utilize the technique for blending mixed drinks with restricted energizers. Unfamiliar cash stream. Truth be told, the new unfamiliar exchange conditions have numerous great elements for Russia. As per the Central Bank of Russia, in the principal quarter of 2022, the equilibrium of worldwide installments recorded exchanges showing an expansion in unfamiliar trade saves. The excess surpassed $58 billion, 2.5 times higher than the similar period last year. This file incorporates the equilibrium of exchange, products of labor and products short imports, wages of Russians working abroad, profits from speculations abroad, including help, compassionate and altruistic gifts. At the end of the day, the ongoing record balances the distinction between absolute possession and complete obligation. Russia benefits from rising costs of energy items. Toward the beginning of March, gas costs in Europe without precedent for history came to $3.892/1,000 cubic meters. Oil isn't falling behind by the same token. Brent rough has hit $130 a barrel, interestingly beginning around 2008. Oil request is developing notwithstanding sanctions. Unfamiliar clients are not prepared to surrender their ordinary fuel. Western exchanging organizations mix Russian Urals rough with different oils. For instance, the American organization Shell works under this plan, permitting its brokers to purchase diesel oil containing Russian oil parts. The item, called Latvia Blend, is made at the port of Ventspils. They needed to utilize this strategy on account of the deficiency of business. Shell has lost almost $5 billion due to pulling out from Russia. ExxonMobil additionally has a comparative measure. The Norwegian oil and gas Goliath Equinor is likewise continually putting resources into Russia. In the interim, British oil monster BP reported it was surrendering its responsibility for 20% of offers in Rosneft. The stakes that BP surrendered were worth up to $25 million. Nonetheless, as indicated by experts, high oil and gas costs will assist with counterbalancing this misfortune. Trade redirection to Asia. Moreover, Asia is effectively purchasing Russian raw petroleum in the setting that the European Union (EU) is forcing sanctions. For instance, China hit a record with 1,600 billion tons of oil. Not a long ways behind is India, the world's third biggest raw petroleum shipper. New Delhi can possibly increment oil buys. In no less than a month, and a large portion of the nation purchased 14 million barrels of Urals oil from Russia. For examination, for the entire of 2021, the figure is 16 million barrels. This increment is because of geological elements. India primarily imports oil from Iran, which is topographically nearer. Fuel is moved via ocean. They changed to unrefined substances from Russia due to Moscow's lower costs. Yet even with the decreases, the provided cost estimates were still high. As indicated by some data, Moscow is resolved to ensure the transportation and protection of unrefined petroleum will be conveyed to India. Likewise, New Delhi is moving forward installments in the public money, very much like China. While worldwide stores are exhausting, the markdown will progressively diminish. Consistently, the worldwide market could lose in excess of 7 million barrels of oil and other fluid energizers from Russia because of current and future ascents. At a gathering between EU authorities and delegates of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) in Vienna, OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Barkindo said this was one of the most genuine misfortunes in oil supply ever. History. OPEC has not had the option to balance oil supply from Russia. In any case, albeit not right away, yet soon, the EU actually means to surrender energy sources that are politically improper. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said a few nations in the district are 100% subject to Russian oil and gas. Delivering from the US to Europe will cost ordinarily more. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak said that the refusal of Russian oil would prompt horrendous ramifications for world business sectors, making costs rise capriciously, conceivably up to more than $300 a barrel. No good thing will happen to this gas import boycott. Bloomberg investigators gauge the German economy alone will lose in excess of 200 billion euros. Abundance unfamiliar cash. Over the course of the following year, the volume of Russian imports will diminish because of authorizations, decreased request and strategic issues. The product volume of things will diminish by 20 to 30%. Be that as it may, since 66% of them are energy items, the inventory is diminishing, so fuel costs will increment. Andrew Loboda, Bit River's head of advertising, noticed that these are the most positive economic situations in the beyond 15 years. Cash inflows into the equilibrium of installments are probably going to increment exorbitantly until the finish of the subsequent quarter, he said. This is extraordinary. In spite of the geomonetary strains, outpourings from abroad could reach $250 billion before the year's over. Notwithstanding, not every person is so hopeful. Mark Goikman, boss market analyst at the Teletrade Data and Examination Focus, prompts, spotlight on more unassuming evaluations. On the off chance that the outcome is higher than the gauge, it will be a wonderful little treat. In the last part of this current year, because of a stoppage in the worldwide economy or even a downturn, oil costs and requests will get back to the degrees of mid-2022, Urals oil, $70/barrel. Accordingly, the ongoing record equilibrium will be in the scope of $155–160 billion. Considering the net capital surge of the country, this outcome can be viewed as great. In the interim, numerous Russian organizations working with outside nations are appearing involved with unfamiliar trade income. The interest for unfamiliar money in the nation is practically non-existent. With regards to sanctions, the import of merchandise from abroad has diminished forcefully. Shippers never again need USD and Euro in a similar volume as in the past. Simultaneously, by pronouncement of the president, sending out endeavors should sell 80% of unfamiliar monetary standards and store them in their records at authorized banks. Maybe Russia will before long lower this limit. Be that as it may, the issue actually continues until further notice. Master Peter Zabortz, advancement overseer of OS Center, made sense of, the public authority comprehends that it isn't sensible to save unfamiliar cash in indirect. Moreover, enormous outpourings because of the constrained offer of 80% of unfamiliar monetary standards could make the ruble exaggerate. This will adversely influence intensity and chance pushing up expansion strongly because of cash supply development, while the stock of merchandise is restricted. Under such circumstances, the public authority might be compelled to lessen sends out. In any case, after the ongoing record overflow diminishes, resulting interests in the materials business will stop. This implies a significantly more keen drop in GDP. And you? What do you think about this? Please leave your comments and subscribe to the channel to follow the content of the next videos.